Guys, you should tell me this before I have gone through the lot of this. I'll start again. I'll start over again. I
Just now I came, Aman, so that's why I didn't hear anything. Yeah.
Then Gururaj was not even listening then. Arey bhai. Okay. Okay. So I covered the SAS part also, that the number range was there. Please let me know if my voice is audible or not, because
Yeah,
sometimes I might forget to unmute my mic.
yeah. Okay, Aman,
Okay.
it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So I started from flexible workflow for today's session. I'll just give a quick 2 minutes recap. So what is purchase requisition? Purchase requisition is an internal document that helps us to identify what specification of material we are going to buy. So by specification, I mean, let's say I have a ID fan or a motor. Okay, so in turbine and maintenance division, we use ID fans, and and this ID fans will have some specification, a specific class or some specific dimensions, or what how much the power of the fan should be, or how much ampere or the voltage should be. Then this specified item is needed to be approved by someone. So you can see in the figure 1, the person is creating a purchase requisition. In the figure 2, he's wondering who will approve the buying of this stuff. This means that who will approve the requisition, who will approve his requisition or the PO. So he thinks that let's ask his manager, or some approving authority who will approve his requisition. Then when he goes to manager office, he might have some paperwork, he might be doing something. Then this process will be delayed, right? This process will be delayed in taking the approvals. So what should he do next? He will just wait. So to overcome this, we have designed, SAP has designed workflows. In the in the previous workflows, you might know that there is a release strategy. So since we are dealing with S4 HANA, we will not work on release strategy. Release strategy is the old process of workflows. In the release strategies, it was very typical to create the workflows. So you will need to include ABAP team. ABAP will be technical team that will develop the workflow in SWDD and SWDB. So these are the T codes that they will use for workflow development design. Then you will have to create the characteristics. Then you will have to use CL20N. Then there will be code CL02, and then you will have to send the codes to the release groups. It was very typical to work in the release strategy. So to overcome the time consumption of the workflows, and in the implementation phase, the time is really critical, right? So you need to develop and deliver the project with all the SITs and everything working in a few months, right? In 7 to 12 months, the time frame is there. So to overcome the implementation, or to shorten the time frame of the implementation projects, what SAP has done is they have given flexible workflows. So this was how the flexible workflow, the requirement. Then why do we use the flexible workflow? So in a organization, there are standard approval process. Like, I'm allowed to create any amount of purchase requisition, but my manager is allowed to approve till 1 lakh. Then his manager or the program delivery is allowed till 1 CR, and then the director of the project, or program head, or the delivery head, is allowed to have a approval of 10 lakhs. So like these, there will be certain restrictions, or there will be purchasing groups, or there will be company codes. On these specific conditions, will use the approval process, and these are standard approval process. By standard, I mean there will be some certain business scenarios that are needed to be followed for approvals. Okay, this guarantees, what guarantees? The workflows. This guarantees the approval that is historic. By historic, I mean that there will be some T codes, some T codes, that is SWIA or SWI5. So these are workbench tools. So nobody will teach you workbench tools. These are kind of semi techno functional. So semi functional, sorry. So when you are going into the workflows, you will use tools, right? You will use tools. This is the workflow bench. So whenever you you find difficulty in the approval process. So everything, as you see in the S4 HANA, is stored in rows and columns format in the tables. Okay, so everything that you see is either a table or a structure. So by table, I mean that it will store in this table as triple WIA head. This is a standard SAP table for workflow headers. So everything that you see as workflows will be stored here. Then when you go to the T code, so this is the T code, SWIA and SWI5. This will SWIA will help you for the workflows that are there in the workflow workbench. Okay, and this SWI5 is a T code for checking what workflows are there per user ID. So you will have SAP users ID. So there is a process in HCM. HCM is HR module. What HR module or HCM consultant do is they will assign every every SAP ID is assigned to one guy. Whoever is working with SAP as an end user will know they will have some certain SAP IDs. Like if Sheena would have joined, I would have asked. I think Abdul is there. Okay. So if you guys are working as an end user, you'll have a SAP user ID. With that user ID, you will be assigned some SAP serial codes. A 6-digit number would be there, right? So I can check the workflows per user ID because I have the historical data of the workflow logs. Everywhere it is stored, right? This approval of workflows guarantees a cycle time. Cycle time means they will have escalations. Let's say you have a workflow that is urgent and it is needed to be approved within 7 days, or my company or my client says that within 7 days the PO should be approved, otherwise it will not be displayed, right? So what happens in some certain uh, companies, that the managing director or the chairman would place a order or some instruction that every executive engineer or every superintending engineer is needed to approve the respective purchase document, that is RFQ or your PO, within 7 days from the time of its release, from the time of its arrival in the inbox. So it will have 7 days, right? 7 days, or let's say 10 days, 14 days, whatever your time frame will be. Then what will happen to that? It will show as a pop-up notification. So you can have escalation procedures also. You can have a pop-up notification also. I'll show you how a pop-up notification will be like. So we can also build that in S4 HANA. So this guarantees fault tolerance. What is fault tolerance? So let's say I have a workflow. Okay. So in a workflow, what happens? Sometimes I'll miss some trigger scenarios. So trigger scenarios like I've configured the workflow. Then when during the manual making of the workflow like this, it will have fault tolerance. So this tolerance means that whenever the approver rejects an item or this gets stuck, I'll be able to start from the beginning, right? Just in case, this is also called as exception handling in the S4. Just in case there's an error in the workflow, I'll be able to start it from the beginning. This is called as fault tolerance. Okay. So this might not be termed as fault tolerance in every interview you go, but you'll ask, can workflow be restarted? Yes. So let's say your client, like I have a document prepared for my client. So what they did was they they mistakenly approved the wrong PO and they canceled the right PO, right? So now after the changes in the wrong PO, it was correct. Now they wanted to send, but the PO was already approved. So how will they trigger, right? They will trigger from key fields. So trigger, I'll also share you that document, trigger from key fields. So I'll attach the Excels. I have one Excel, the approach and the retriggering. So I'll make one table. I'll do that for you guys. So how to trigger this key fields? Key fields are like there'll be additional data as in the header. So let me show you 1 second. /n me23n. So in the PO header, you might have observed one field is there, additional data. This is collective number. This is a key field. So whenever you want to re-trigger a PO, re-trigger means when you want to re-trigger or you want to re-initiate, restart a PO, you'll use the collective number. Collective number is a key field which will bring back your PO to your original state. This is called your restarting conditions. This is fault tolerance. Okay. So no knowledge of approval process as the approvers are predefined. So whoever your functional consultant will be, they will they will define the flexible workflow, right? Flexible workflow will define it in the system. So there's a special tab here that will come for your purchasing document whenever you will define. Then never and one more thing I would like to highlight: never use the standard PO with the flexible workflow. SAP best practices recommend to create a custom. So you can use this ZNB, ZUNB, or anything. You can create any document type, then use the flexible workflow. Otherwise, what happens with this standard, when SAP will come and check that your system has some issues with the flexible workflow in your project, then they will say that this is customized and we cannot do anything. Always use the standard document type for the standard practices and never customize the standard. Whenever you want to customize, just copy the document type that was already shown to you how to copy. Then make your custom changes in the system. Okay, so you don't need any knowledge. So the knowledge will be very less in this transfer, because there will be no knowledge transfer, because the approval process is predefined by us. As functional consultants, we will define what approvals are needed to be uh, placed in the workflow. Then this guarantees the compliance predefined process. So what is compliance? So in simple terms, compliance means that whenever you have a purchase requisition or PO that is needed to be approved by certain steps of approvers, some 4-5 people in the hierarchy will approve, right? They'll approve the PO or the PR. These documents will have a predefined process. After approval, it will be sure that the same specification of the same material and the same quantity with the same price after the negotiation is brought into the premises of the client. So this is the compliance guarantee. Now let's come to this: when to use flexible workflows. Okay, so so these are the questions that you need to ask yourself or ask the business. So are different people involved? This means the buyer, the manager, the the process in charge, or the chief. So chief will be the last chief engineer, or the person that is on the top hierarchy will be the last person that will approve this process, right? So is this process time critical? Time critical as in what I said was what I mentioned was the PR is needed, that it is an internal document for your requisition, and you need some items. So whenever you will draw a PR, you might need it, right? You might need it, then only you'll draw a PR. So after a PR, how much time is needed for the PO, right? After awardation of contract, the vendor will be like, if you give me the PO in certain time, I'll offer you the goods before the deadline of your delivery, or before the delivery time, whatever the scheduled delivery time is. Is this process is this process tracking or audit critical? So audit critical, by this I mean that there are internal audits, right? Internal audits are like how many the MD will ask a report, right? My client MD asks this report after every 3 months. So every quarter we have to give that report, and every year end we have to give that report. So we gave that report today. So audit critical, this means that the MD or the managing director or anyone above this director technical will ask these reports. So why are these reports needed? Because the progress of the company is in the hands of the managing director, director technical, and the chairman. So they'll be supervising all the process, all the activities that are going. Since most of the SAP projects are either government or private, they will need the productivity, right? They'll need the productivity out of the operations that is going on. So they will have the auditing. Some firm will be there, or internal auditing will be there, that how many people are following the purchase order, PR, all the cycle is going on, P2P cycle. Okay. Then comes the process consistency. So is the process consistency critical? So this means that whenever you create a PO, it is needed to be approved. So sometimes you approve the PO, sometimes you don't approve the PO. Other times you're creating a SES, other times and you're not creating ACS. You are directly making a GR, or you are using service master. So every workflows is needed to be same, right? Consistency is important in a process. Then is the process repetitive in nature? Let's say I make a PO, then I need to approve it by my manager. Then his manager will approve. Likewise, three people are there uh, in the hierarchy. So is this process repetitive in nature? Yes. If all the answers to your question is yes, then you can work with the flexible workflows. Okay. So some of the SAP best practices that we should always keep in mind are the speed, time to the market. Okay, so why was this introduced? Because the speed to market, the improve to quality decision making, improve operational efficiency, and ensure compliances. So compliances I already explained, monitor and control process. The deadline and escalation procedures are there. Like after how many days this will show as a push up notification, pop up notification. Okay, and the speed. Let's go to speed and time to market. Okay, escalate is the SAP transition routine form for immediate actions. Okay, one more thing I would like to highlight here. So whenever you use there's an app called My Inbox. So you might be aware there was old My Inbox SW BD. So SWBD was old My Inbox. Now we have a proper application for My Inbox app. So in My Inbox app, what happens is you will have the automatic pop-up in your inbox. Automatic pop-up means there will be certain tasks, there will be certain tiles in the My Inbox app. Okay, I think I have not pasted a screenshot of that. No, I'll paste that screenshot next time. So I made this PPT in a hurry. Okay, so there is automatic the task, whatever. Let's say you are creating a PO, it will go to your manager's inbox automatically. And if your manager is manager is on leave, you can substitute him. Substitute him as in the manager can the manager will apply leave in the HR module. He will also manage substitute. Manage substitute means everything in the My Inbox app will directly shift from your manager's inbox to the person that is replacing your manager for 1 to 3 days for the time he is on leave. Ability to forward work items. So let's say you are a manager and you have a subordinate, right? Somehow mistakenly, or he got transferred. Some criteria is there. He got transferred, or he is in the same purchase group, or anything that is overlapping, right? So his task got into your inbox. So you'll not go change inbox items every time. You'll go just to your My Inbox. You'll forward the items. So there's an option to forward items. I'll also show you that. So we'll take 2 more sessions of this Flexel workflows. I'll just brief the overview today. I wanted to go as deep as possible because the retention is like 80%. Every time I tell you, the retention will be 80%. So I think as much as knowledge I can pour to you guys, it will be much beneficial for you. So configurations we will do tomorrow. The overview will do today, and the end user activity will do day after tomorrow. Okay, so improve quality and decision making. So we will be able to deliver the quality and decisions. So decision will be like you can add the documents. Let's say you have a manual document that is parallelly there, right? So what my client does is they have a workflow created specifically for the PR. So for PR, they will use FLM. FLM is a separate module, life cycle management. Consider it like an email, just embedded in the SAP system. So they will use the FLM. They'll download the FLM file, right? They'll download it. They'll attach in the PO. So we have made the attachment mandatory. So they'll attach in the PO. With the PO, it will go to my inbox. Under the my inbox, the participant or the manager will be able to see that they have already taken the approval from the higher authority. Now they'll approve, right? They can attach the objects, they can attach a work item, or they can they can deliver accurately the information. Now the efficiency means they will remove the they'll remove the actors means the people that will take time, right? If you don't need two people in the workflow, let's say I have two managers, both of them are my superior, but only one of them will approve my task. So how will I bifurcate? I'll bifurcate based on the purchase group. I'll bifurcate based on the user role, right? So I'll have start conditions. So based on start conditions, whichever actor, whichever superior I have to send my purchase requisition or PO, it will get there automatically. So this will reduce the time, it will reduce the efforts, and also reduce the redundancy in the process. So business process is always important for us as consultants. Okay, so you need to ask all these questions, and just remember these basic points. Yeah, so let's come to our elephant in the room. That was why are we using this instead of release strategy? So why are we using flexible workflow instead of release strategy? This is one thing that I already mentioned. So it's like this is an alternative to our release strategy. Flexible workflow is an alternative. Okay, it is not mandatory to use flexible workflows, but for some certain scenarios, SAP will recommend that use flexible workflows. Okay, so if you want to use push notifications, okay, so what are push notifications? Okay, I wish. Okay, so what are push notifications? Let's say you might use some food delivery app, right? So, or you might use Alibaba or Amazon, these shopping apps, right? So what happens with Alibaba, Amazon, these apps will display a pop-up message. So this push notifications will be configured in the Fury 2.0, that is 1905 version and above. So Fury 2.0 is 1905 and version above. All these will have push notifications 2.0. So this means that in when you configure the flexible workflows, let's say you have a time period of 7 to 14 days, the version, the PO or the PR that whatever you have created should be approved within this certain time frame. If it is not approved, then what will the system do? It will put a push notification. It will display on the app, like you'll have your phone, right? The Fury works on your phone or it works on your web browser. So in those applications, it will show a push notification that this deadline has been reached. Please approve. Something like that will happen in the push notifications. Okay, SAP version 1905 and above. Currently, we are on version 3. Okay, Fury 3. Okay, let's get back. So it's an alternative. We have push notifications. It can be configured using Fury app, and approval action can be taken from the Fury app. So Fury app of My Inbox. So this is a My Inbox application, which I'll share you the inbox ID also. So you remember I shared you the Fury application library. Fury app library, it is also called as Fury app library. I also gave you the link. So in that you will be able to see Fury application, that is My Inbox. Recently, some changes have been there, and in the latest support package of 1909 SP07, they have introduced separate inbox applications. So I'll also share you why. Just let me complete this slide. There's an interesting functionality that SAP gave. that I discovered 5 6 months ago. I'll also show you that. Okay, so let's complete this first. So okay, alternative. Okay, so only one release strategy can be used at one time, either flexible or classic. Okay, classic means this release strategy. Release strategy that we used was complex, right? It has different conditions. We used to involve the ABAP team. Everyone was supposed to be there, right, to test this. So we need to extend into classes. The characteristics were needed to be made. The release groups, the release group was assigned to the release codes. Everything was there. So with this, the workflow process became too lengthy and complex. So SAP came up with flexible workflows. So they defined that only one type of release strategy can be used, either the classic or the flexible. So we'll go with flexible. Flexible is one thing that is trendy in the market. It is also trending right now. So whenever you talk about flexible workflows, it is very simple, easy to configure, and it takes much less time to configure. As a functional consultant, functional consultant, our part is very less, but I'll also teach you how to configure the ABAP and all the other basis activities also. So if you don't know that, it's fine, but it is it is always good to know a lot of things which might be useful whenever you go to big projects, whenever you go to small companies with less project budget. Okay, so in those cases you might not be stuck. That is why I'll tell you all these. Okay, so flexible workflow is a scenario based workflows. Every scenario will have more than one conditions. So scenario based, by scenario based I mean that PO will have one scenario, your RFQ will have one scenario, but your PR will have two scenarios. One is the header scenario and one is the item scenario. So a PR might have several items. So in the old release strategy also, we used to have separate header and item, but currently, currently in the these scenarios in the PR, we will have two scenarios. Okay, one for header, one for item. It has a possibility of determining the approver through a lot of different options. Okay, so we are able to determine the approvals. I'll show you in my system how we determine the approvals, and we'll also configure that in my system. Okay, so in tomorrow's session we'll do that, how to specify. It has an option to specify under which condition it should be triggered, the steps should be triggered. So we can, in the workflow, we can configure like it should be approved or not, under which circumstances will the action be taken. This all can be configured, and there's an application, my inbox. Okay, so this my inbox application, currently in the latest support package, me and my team, we got this information from SAP only, that they have utilized a separate terminology, or let's say separate inbox applications. Earlier we used to have single inbox, my inbox. The HR team will use this my inbox, the team, the SD, if there are any approvals in SD. So sales order also gets approved. So some of you might know that sales order process. So it also gets approved. PP, MRP, everything goes to approval, right? So if there are multiple approvals, this my inbox will get full. So the string length of my inbox is only 100. So at a time only 100. Let me write that. At a time only 100 inbox items can be shown in my inbox app. So it is much better to use separate inbox applications for PR, POs, and your RFQ. It is much better to use separate PR, separate my box PR. Okay, so whenever you get into a project, this is one thing that I learned quite late. So we have a big client, right? So it has 10,000 employees and 4,000 have licenses, SAP licenses. So imagine the size of the company. So what is happening? They are creating a lot of PRs, POs, everything is going into the purchase division's executive engineers inbox. So within 1 week, his inbox gets full, and the approval of PR takes at least minimum of I think 21 days. So his inbox used to disappear. So by disappearing, I mean that his inbox used to get full. All the items that were on the lowest after 100, it will not appear in the inbox. So whenever you approve the old items, the new items, then the old item will come up. Otherwise, you'll have to manually release it or retrigger. Okay. So then to eliminate this issue, the standard issue in this process, what SAP did was they created my inbox for PR separately. They created my inbox for PO application. From the Fiori app library, we can copy, we can tell our Fiori consultant that we require this. So this is one thing that I discovered. This is what I wanted to share with you guys. So always remember to use Fiori app library for standard and all these configurations. Okay. So this is one slide I wanted to tell something. Let's skip this. So there was details of this. Okay, for those who are unfamiliar. So after 1909, we have the adopters of the flexible workflows. Then the earlier flexible workflow used to work from SWDD. This is one thing that I told you. The GUI used to work with SWDD. Then we had SWI1. SWI1 used to show us the flexible workflow, the classic workflows. Now, okay, they have attached one screenshot. Let's skip. Okay. So this is one thing that I wanted to share about this block. Only these two lines were important. The release orders of sales orders release. Okay. Let's skip this style. So why do we have the S4 HANA flexible workflows? Okay, so we have this because the purchasing configuration is very simple. You can see these tiles. So whenever you go into the flexible workflow, you will see these tiles, right? Manage workflow for purchase order, manage workflows for PRs, supplier invoices. Everything will be pre-configured. The quotations, the central POs, the central PRs, contracts, everything will be there. The service entry sheet, all these configurations are already there in the standard SAP. You'll find all these. So whenever you click, you will be able to configure these. Now we'll come to the difference. So what is the difference in the between the flexible workflow and the release strategy? Just give me 1 second. Let me drink water. Do you guys have any issues? Please let me know. I'll hold for a minute. Raj Kumar, Guru Raj, any issues? Please tell me.
No, man, it's fine.
Okay, let's start again. So the basic difference between the release strategy and flexible workflow is it used to be done only from GUI. The flexible workflow can be mapped from the Fiori app. The start conditions here were currency, document type, material group, company code, purchase group, net value, purchase order. All these were the start conditions that were already there. In the Fiori application, we have creation indicator, material group, net amount, purchasing group, and account assignment category. Then validity period. So as I said, there will be some validity period. Okay, the flexible workflow. Let's say you want one flexible workflow to trigger now, then you to trigger, and then you get informed that there is a transfer of the division users. Now somebody else will manage. So you can set the end start and end date of the validity period. Then the sequence. So can you put two can you use the step sequence? Step sequence means there is some start conditions. Let's say the first I used land or a purchase organization, right? Under that I have purchasing groups. So when these two are mixed, okay, the first condition will be plant, second will be purchasing group. When these two are mixed, can I use that? So I cannot use that in this case. It will be only working in only one. Now in this I'll use plant purchasing groups or the mix of both. Okay, then we have class characteristics. So earlier you used to maintain CL20N, CT01, all these CT04. We used to assign the values. Then we used to have CL02, and so in that we used to maintain class characteristics, assign everything. Now here we don't need class characteristics, assignment, anything. HCM team is required. Why HCM team is required in S4 HANA flexible workflow? Because they will create some SAP ID. So when this SAP ID is created, right? Let me write here process. Okay. So when SAP ID is created, you will assign the same SAP ID for the workflows. It is mandatory to create SAP ID. Otherwise, this will not work. Then a deadline for approval. We can set deadline. It is not mandatory. We can set a deadline that I already explained. Then the T codes for approval. MA54N. Also, this also means append the PR, right, or append the PO. MA29N. So in the release strategy, we used to call as append the PO PR. Now in the flexible workflow, we only need to go to Mindbox application. Everything will be pre-defined. There's a custom T code we can create Mindbox for PO separately. That I already told you. Now what we can do is we can go to Mindbox only. We can approve, reject. We can do all the functionality that are there in the Mindbox application. So these are the changes from the flexible workflow and release strategy. Two more changes are there. The operation that was used was GUI. Now we are using Fiori application flexible workflow. Then the value change was possible from CL24N. Now we cannot edit the existing active version of the flexible workflow. We need to copy the scenario and create a new one, or we can activate a different scenario. Authorization control. We used to have separate authorizations. Now what we are doing is we have no authorization control. We directly assign to the person. So this reduces the process time. Earlier we used to involve the basis team. We used to say that only this person will be able to approve because of this role. Now we don't have any authorization objects. We'll just have the T code of we'll just have the ID that HCM team will give us, and we'll just directly assign it to the workflow. Now let's come to the steps. I'll not continue after 12th slide because this will be very typical for you guys. It will be very overwhelming. I'll just give the brief about today, so we will be prepared for tomorrow's session. Okay, so the step 1. So what are the steps for flexible workflow configuration? The steps are: first we need to activate the flexible workflow. We need to activate the flexible workflow for the document type. It is as simple as a tick. Even if you have a document, you can just follow that document and you can only put a tick, right? These 6 point, the client configuration, all these are ABAP and technical. This is Fiori technical, this is ABAP technical, this is some custom that is technical also. This is till 1, 2, 3 steps is MM, and 7th step is MM. Other points are technical. So you need to know all the steps. You'll get stuck You'll get stuck on fifth point, fourth point, and second point. So these are very important steps. If you miss any, you'll not be able to customize the flexible workflow. So I'll show you all the points how to customize. So we'll get into the Fiori GUI application, and we'll get into the Fiori application also. Okay, so first we need to define the flexible workflow scenario. Then we need to activate the workflow for the PR or PO document type. Then we need to maintain the task and decision points. Decision points means either yes, it is accepted, or no, it is not accepted, or it is set as rejected. So it will be either released or rejected. Then you have client dependent configuration. This is some configuration that we will do per client, cross client activity. It is done by the basis team. In the NetWeaver, there is a separate node in the SAP NetWeaver, and under which the basic functions are assigned by the basis team. So I'll tell you, I think there are 21 steps, but we have only mentioned 7 because these are the only crucial steps that are needed to be done. Okay, so I have a separate SAP note that I'll share with you guys for all these steps. So how to then we have to perform the task specific customization. So each task will have some tick, right? Per the workflow ID will have some tick. Then we need to activate push notification in the Fiori, like I said. In Alibaba or in Amazon, you will have some certain time period. Whenever you will have you'll have met that time period, it will show push notifications or the pop-up notifications. Then we'll manage this is the end user activity or the business analyst activity, that how to manage the workflows. We'll create the workflows, then it will be managed by the business analyst or the end user. In my current client, after the support rollout, we gave this to the core team. Only the core team will handle this, not the end users. Just remember that core team and end users are separate. Core team is the team that is directly interacting with the business analyst or you guys, the consultants. Okay, so I've also highlighted the scenario and task overviews. So I'll just drop off after this, drop you guys after this. Okay, so we have certain task IDs, workflow IDs for the purchase document, right? So what are task IDs for the scenario IDs? So these are the workflow scenario IDs. So what are scenarios? Scenario means what happens when you want to release a PR, right? So here I've given these standard. It is a table that we created. So these are the standard workflows IDs. The 458 scenario workflow ID is for the workflow of overall release of PR. With this, you need to also activate this because the PR is having the release with the item. So this overall release will work with the PR item, right? Then you will have the standard task ID. You'll have the standard task ID. Okay, every workflow scenario ID will have a task ID. These will work for workflows of purchase order, purchase contract, scheduling agreement, blocked invoices, and RFQs, parked invoices as complete. So everything will have a workflow, right? You will have the standard workflow IDs. When you map it with the workflow, then only it will work. Okay, so there are separate tables with which you can check what workflows are there. So these are standard workflows that we'll map. Sometimes it will not map, or other times it will map in the standard system. We just need to activate. So these are the configurations. I'll not go into the configurations, but these are the prerequisites that I will share with you guys. So this is the HCM prerequisite. HCM will give us a person number. A person number means SAP user ID. SAP user ID will be extended into the business partner. These are the BPs that we already saw. So every person number or every SAP user ID will have a business partner ID that will be generated by the HCM consultant. Okay, so like the purchase manager will have a vendor ID or the business partner ID, will get this by the HCM consultant, or we can write our own BADI. BADI means a business development application that we'll use for the writing our custom logic. Okay, so this is one second, sorry, this is something that your HCM consultant will do. Okay, this is PA30, I guess. Okay, this is PA30. Here they will have the roles per the structure. They'll assign the ID. So this is the BP ID, right? You can see. Let me zoom in a little. So this is the BP ID. I've already highlighted it in the structure. You'll get the purchasing ID. This is the P. P means the ID of the person. Then this BP ID will be assigned 203, 202, whichever ID is there. Okay. So let's wind up till here. This will be given. This is at the prerequisites. So tomorrow I'll start with the configurations. Sorry. Okay. Configurations tomorrow will start, and day after tomorrow we'll do the last part of this. That is making the configurations. Okay. So if I think. Okay, so this Mindbox, everything release, reject, everything last part. This is end user activity. I'll be telling you how to do this in the last part of the session. Okay. So we'll take 2 more days for these flexible workflows. Till today it is clear, I guess, because it is just theory part that I want to teach you guys. Let me save this. Okay. Any doubts? Rajkumar, Guru Raj, I'll stop sharing.
No, it's clear. It's fine.
Clear, right? Okay. Stop the recording. Any other doubts in